What if I told you that you could eat healthy for a whole day for less than one of those fancy coffees? You know the ones, the $5, $6, even $7 drinks that are gone in 15 minutes. Most of us, and maybe you're one of them, have been led to believe that eating truly nutritious food means expensive grocery trips and a budget that feels totally out of reach. I used to think that too. I'd walk through the grocery store, see the pretty packaging on organic everything, the high prices on grass-fed whatever, and just feel defeated. It felt like wellness was a club I couldn't afford to join. Honestly, my journey into budget eating wasn't really a choice. It was a necessity. A few years back, I was staring down a mountain of student loan debt, working a job that barely covered rent, and I was feeling it. I was living on instant noodles and the dollar menu, and I was tired all the time, my skin was a mess, and my brain just felt foggy. I knew something had to change, but my bank account wasn't getting any bigger. Everyone says you have to choose your health or your money. I just refused to accept that. I decided to find a third way, a way to nourish my body without emptying my wallet. It took time, a lot of trial and error, a few spectacular kitchen disasters, and a total shift in how I thought about food. But I eventually cracked the code. I learned that healthy eating isn't about buying the most expensive stuff. It's about being smart with the most humble ingredients. It's about planning, prepping, and turning simple, cheap foods into meals that are not only delicious, but are packed with the nutrients my body was screaming for. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain to prove that it's not only possible, but it's way easier than you think. I'm going to show you exactly what I eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I'm tallying up the cost of every single thing. No tricks, no hidden costs. By the end of this, you'll see a full day of satisfying, nutritious food that costs less than a single cup of coffee. This isn't a diet, it's a sustainable lifestyle. So let's get cooking. All right, before we fire up the stove, let's talk about the most crucial step, the grocery shop. This is where you win or lose the budget battle. Walking into a store without a plan is a recipe for disaster. You get lost, you make impulse buys, and your wallet is always the first casualty. So, rule number one is to always plan your meals and make a detailed grocery list. It's the most boring but most powerful tip I can give you. Now, let me show you the haul that's going to fuel my day for under $5. It might not look glamorous, but this right here is pure potential. First up, the foundation of my breakfast, rolled oats. I bought this large container of store-brand rolled oats. Buying generic is a non-negotiable rule for budget eating. It's often nutritionally identical to the name brands, but way cheaper. These oats cost me about $1.50 per pound, and a pound of oats has dozens of servings. We're talking pennies per meal. They're packed with soluble fiber, which keeps you feeling full for hours and stops you from reaching for pricey, unhealthy snacks. Next, protein. This is where people think the budget falls apart. They picture expensive steaks and salmon. I think about these dry brown lentils. A 1-pound bag of these nutritional powerhouses cost me about $1.80. This one bag will be the star of my lunch for days. Lentils are one of the most affordable protein sources on the planet, loaded with fiber, iron, and protein. We're going to turn these into a soup so hearty, you won't even miss the meat. But I do enjoy meat, and the secret is choosing the right cuts. Instead of boneless, skinless chicken breast, I go for boneless, skinless chicken thighs. They cost me around $2.50 a pound, which is significantly cheaper. Not only are they more affordable, but they're also more flavorful and harder to overcook. This package will provide the protein for at least 3 or 4 dinners. Today, we're only using a single thigh. Now for veggies. This is where you add tons of volume and nutrients for pocket change. My number one draft pick is always cabbage. A whole head of green cabbage cost me about $2 and weighs nearly 3 pounds, working out to less than 80 cents per pound. This one head will pop up in my dinners and lunches all week. It's incredibly versatile and packed with vitamins. Alongside the cabbage, I have the holy trinity of soup making: onions, carrots, and celery. I buy these loose instead of in a bag to get exactly what I need. A large yellow onion, carrots, and celery are all consistently among the cheapest fresh vegetables you can buy. For my dinner carb, I have brown rice. I bought a 2-pound bag for about $2.40. Just like oats, the cost per serving is incredibly low, and buying it dry in a bag is way cheaper than any pre-cooked pouch. It's a whole grain, so it has more fiber and nutrients than white rice to keep you full and satisfied. And finally, the dozen eggs. Now, egg prices have been on a wild ride, but they are still one of the most affordable and complete proteins you can buy. I managed to get this dozen for about $2.50. An egg or two is a fantastic way to get high-quality protein on the cheap. I also have my pantry staples on hand, things I buy in bulk that last for months, so their cost per meal is tiny. This includes a big container of olive oil, soy sauce, spices like cumin and paprika, garlic powder, and a bag of garlic. Buying these in larger quantities is essential for making cheap food taste amazing. Getting creative with spices is how you keep from getting bored. So there it is. Oats, lentils, chicken thighs, cabbage, onions, carrots, celery, rice, and eggs. This is my toolkit. This is how we build a day of delicious, healthy food for under $5. Let's start with breakfast. Breakfast is where people tend to spend way too much money for way too little nutrition. Sugary cereals, fancy granola, or that daily $5 latte and pastry. We're going to make something that costs less than 50 cents and will power you through your entire morning. A classic bowl of oatmeal. I know. Some of you heard oatmeal and pictured a gray, gloopy, flavorless mush. Erase that image from your mind. We're going to make oatmeal that is creamy, delicious, and deeply satisfying. The process starts with a key ratio, 1 part oats to 2 parts liquid. I'm using a half cup of my rolled oats, which for my big container costs about 12 cents. It's incredible. For my liquid, I'm just using 1 cup of water, which is basically free. I combine the oats and water in a small pot with a tiny pinch of salt. Don't skip this. It doesn't make the oatmeal salty. It brings out the natural nutty sweetness of the oats. I turn the heat to medium and bring it to a gentle simmer. While that's heating up, let's talk flavor. We aren't using sugar. Instead, I'm reaching for my ground cinnamon. I bought a huge container months ago, so the amount I'm using costs less than a cent. I add a generous shake. Cinnamon gives you that warm, sweet-smelling spice flavor that tricks your brain into thinking what you're eating is more decadent than it is. After about 5 to 7 minutes, the oatmeal starts to thicken. Stir it a bit more now to keep it from sticking. You'll see it transform into a beautiful, creamy porridge. Once it's there, I turn off the heat. But we're not done. I'm adding half a banana, which cost me about 10 cents. I slice it up and stir most of it into the hot oatmeal. The residual heat softens the banana, making it even sweeter and infusing the whole bowl with its flavor. It's a natural, built-in sweetener. I save a few slices for the top because we eat with our eyes first. So, let's pour this into a bowl. Look at that. It's thick, creamy, and a world away from that sad, gray paste you might be imagining. Now, for the final cost breakdown. The oats were about 12 cents. The cinnamon was maybe 1 cent. Half a banana was 10 cents. That brings our grand total for this incredibly filling and delicious breakfast to just 23 cents. 23 cents. For less than a quarter, we made a breakfast that's high in fiber for digestion and fullness, with complex carbs for sustained energy. You just can't beat the nutritional bang for your buck. This breakfast will keep me full and focused until lunchtime, no problem. Welcome to lunchtime, where good intentions often go to die for the sake of convenience. It's so easy to grab a pricey and often unhealthy takeout option. The antidote? Batch cooking. Today, we're making a massive pot of hearty lentil soup. This one pot will yield about 8 servings. That's lunch for over a week. We start with our flavor base. In a large pot, I heat about a tablespoon of olive oil, maybe 10 cents. Once it's shimmering, in go the aromatics. 1 chopped large yellow onion, 40 cents, 2 medium carrots, 20 cents, and 2 stalks of celery, 20 cents. This is our mirepoix. We'll sauté these for about 8 to 10 minutes to soften them up and release their natural sweetness. This step builds a deep layer of flavor, so don't rush it. While the veggies are sweating, I add a few cloves of minced garlic, about 5 cents, and my spices. Adding spices to the hot oil helps them bloom, making the whole dish more fragrant. I'm going for a warm, smoky flavor, so I'm adding a tablespoon each of cumin and paprika, a teaspoon of dried oregano, and a half teaspoon of black pepper, about 15 cents for all of them. I stir for another minute until it smells absolutely amazing. Now for the star, the lentils. I've rinsed 1 pound of my dry brown lentils. This whole bag cost me $1.80. I dump the entire pound into the pot and give it a good stir, coating the lentils in all those spices. Next, 8 cups of water and 1 14.5-ounce can of diced tomatoes, which I got for about 80 cents. The tomatoes add a bit of acidity and savory depth. I give it all a final stir, bring it to a boil, then reduce the heat to a low simmer. Lid on, and we let it go for about 25 to 30 minutes. This is where the magic happens. The lentils become tender and creamy, absorbing all those flavors. After 30 minutes, I take the lid off. The soup has transformed. It's thick, rich, and smells divine. Now I taste and adjust the seasoning. It definitely needs salt. I add about 1.5 teaspoons. The difference is night and day. It's perfect. This isn't a thin, brothy soup. It's a substantial meal packed with plant-based protein and fiber. Let's calculate the cost for this entire pot. $1.80 for the lentils, 40 cents for the onion, 20 cents for the carrots, 20 cents for the celery, 80 cents for the tomatoes. Let's be generous and say 30 cents for oil, garlic, and spices. The total cost for this huge pot is $3.70. This pot makes 8 generous servings. So, divide $3.70 by 8. The cost of this massive, filling bowl of lunch is just 46 cents. 46 cents. This is the power of batch cooking. The rest of this soup goes into the fridge. I have lunch ready for the week, saving me time, money, and mental energy. This is how you win the lunch game. As the day winds down, the urge to order takeout gets real. But we've planned for this. Our dinner is going to be quick, packed with flavor, and super cheap. We're making a simple chicken and cabbage stir-fry over fluffy brown rice. This meal shows another core principle, using small amounts of meat for flavor and bulking up the meal with tons of cheap veggies. First, let's get the rice going. I'm using a half cup of dry brown rice, which costs about 15 cents. I use a simple method: 1 part rice, 2 parts water, a pinch of salt. Bring to a boil, reduce to the lowest heat, cover, and steam for 40 minutes. I get this started first, so that it cooks while I prep everything else. Now for the stir-fry. Our protein is 1 boneless, skinless chicken thigh, which weighs about 1/3 pound and costs roughly 83 cents. I'm slicing it into thin, bite-sized strips. The key to a good stir-fry is prepping everything before you start, because the cooking is fast. Next, our workhorse vegetable, cabbage. I'm using about 1/4 of my large head of cabbage, about 50 cents, and slicing it very thinly so it cooks quickly. I'm also thinly slicing half a yellow onion, which costs about 20 cents. The final prep is the sauce. Store-bought sauces can be expensive and full of sugar. It's so easy and cheap to make your own. In a small bowl, I combine 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 10 cents, a teaspoon of honey, 5 cents, a teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 cents, and a tablespoon of water. A simple, delicious sauce for about 17 cents. Okay, prep is done. Time to cook. This will take less than 10 minutes. In a large skillet over high heat, I add a tablespoon of oil. Once it's shimmering, in goes the chicken. High heat is essential for a good sear. I'll let it cook for a couple of minutes without moving to develop a brown crust. Then stir for another 2 minutes until it's cooked through. I remove the chicken and set it aside. Into the same hot pan, I add the sliced onion and stir-fry for 2 minutes. Then, I add all the sliced cabbage. It looks like a mountain, but it'll cook down. I stir it for about 4 to 5 minutes, until it's tender, but still has a bit of a bite. Now, I add the cooked chicken back to the pan. I give my sauce a quick whisk and pour it all over everything. I stir to coat it all in that glossy, savory sauce. The heat thickens it in about 30 seconds. And just like that, our stir-fry is done. The rice is now perfectly fluffy. I lay a generous bed of it on my plate and pile that beautiful chicken and cabbage stir-fry right on top. Look at this huge, colorful, fragrant meal. You have savory chicken, sweet cabbage, and a salty sweet sauce over hearty brown rice. Let's do the final cost breakdown. The brown rice was 15 cents. The chicken thigh was 83 cents. The cabbage was 50 cents. The onion was 20 cents. The homemade sauce was 17 cents. The grand total for this massive plate of food is $1.85. For less than $2, we made a balanced meal with protein, a huge serving of vegetables, and a whole grain carb. Before the final tally, let's talk snacks, a budget danger zone. A bag of chips here, a candy bar there, it all adds up. I stick to simple, whole food snacks like a piece of fruit or one of the hard-boiled eggs we prepped. For today, my snack was a simple apple, which costs about 40 cents. It's hydrating, has fiber, and satisfies a sweet craving. It's cheap and requires zero prep. So now, the moment of truth. Let's add up the whole day. Breakfast, creamy cinnamon oatmeal with banana came to 23 cents. Lunch, the huge, hearty bowl of lentil soup was 46 cents. Dinner, the savory chicken and cabbage stir-fry cost us $1.85. Snack, a simple, healthy apple was 40 cents. Adding it all up, 23 cents plus 46 cents plus $1.85 plus 40 cents equals $2.94. $2.94 for an entire day of food. 3 full, satisfying meals plus a snack. We didn't just stay under $5. We crushed it. So there you have it. A full day of healthy, delicious food for a grand total of $2.94. Eating healthy on a budget isn't a myth. It's not about deprivation or eating boring food. It's about being intentional. It's about planning your meals, making a list, and embracing humble ingredients like oats, lentils, and cabbage. It's about realizing you can make food at home that's better and far cheaper than almost anything you can buy. The next time you think you can't afford to eat healthy, I want you to remember this video. You have the power to nourish your body and protect your finances at the same time. You just have to choose to start. If you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. And for more budget-friendly meal ideas, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Now I want to hear from you. What is your all-time favorite budget-friendly meal? Let me know in the comments below. I love getting new ideas from you all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Hit the bell icon for the daily updates. Please do like, subscribe, and share with your friends.